George Janko came out with a podcast and Bobby Lee was the feature. There was a lot of awkwardness and a lot of tension. And I have to say that I was desperate for an ad break. Usually I like to just tap forward so I can skip the ads. Not in this case. I actually tapped backwards so I can rewind those ads because I was just not ready for round 2. There was just so many awkward moments to the point where when I was watching it, I was just like, you know that you did that, right? And he has video evidence. Bobby tries to play it off as if he doesn't remember anything. And then he even incorporates a rhetorical technique, as you guys know, anecdotes, by suggesting that he called over his assistant and his assistant assured him that he didn't perform such an act.
It was for a while until I went, did I? I don't remember, but...
I actually, you know, it's so funny.
And I asked my assistant to look it up, and she's like, I didn't see that. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh.
But I do have receipts, and I have the clip as well.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, oh, no. I have receipts. I just didn't want to do... That wasn't my whole, like...
Let's move on from that.
Oh, no. Stop. Someone just stop. Please, someone save them. And I like how George, or at least to me, he's giving me the impression that he's just so cheery and almost naive about what's occurring before him. And like, I don't know, man. To me, I'm probably reading into it too much. And then Bobby and George are just kind of just trying to like comedically play it off. But I just could not take that impression. For some reason, I just kept thinking, this is awkward. There was just so many moments where, again, they would bring it up and then immediately Bobby would just say, let's just move on from that. Let's just move on from that.
Let's move on from that. I didn't grab it. Let's move on. Like I said, let's move past it again. Let's just put it behind us.
Yeah.
You can see that Bobby, he's like, yeah, we should move on from this. And then George is all like, yeah. No, man, what do you mean? This is something that you guys need to talk about. Like, it really needs to be talked about because remember, Bobby Lee is potentially doing this to other people. Now, again, I have a new perspective now because of George. George kind of put it out there. And so now I'm questioning, you know, is this really a comedic act or is this essay? Because here's the thing, man, depending on what George says, if he says like, you know, like this is just a comedic act, then I'm just going to see it as a comedic act. And I'm going to start looking at Bobby as like, oh, that's just Bobby, you know? And here's the thing, if you're mad at me for viewing it that way, the real person that I think you should be upset with is George, because George, you know, he's not really speaking up on it, and that's his experience. And somebody who's been in that position, like George, for him to just kind of reduce it to, oh no, you know, it's just a comedic act. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Are you going to take my opinion over somebody who has been through it? There isn't exactly anybody who's speaking up on it. And even people who do talk about it, they just talk about it in the light of, oh, it's comedy.
But the
Dude,
scenes
that's
from the
fucking
bottom.
rapey, bro.
What is?
Yeah, that's my foot, bro.
Tonight, nice.
You
pull your dick out in front of people.
I know. That's my bad, my bad.
You showed you showed them all your dick like 20 minutes ago.
saw
He insisted. He wouldn't let me not see his dick.
Yeah.
He sent me a fucking picture.
Well, can I tell
after
you?
I said I love you.
I'm going to defend him a little bit.
Okay.
That actually means he actually likes you.
That's
If he sends you a dick pic, it's kind of like
it's
his.
called the Korean hello.
You never send me a dick pic.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
But you showed him on the pod.
This is how he makes you want the dick
I've seen
pic.
you live. That was a photo. I've shown you my dick live.
Oh, that's true.
That's so close.
No, that's different.
That's true.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like Andrew and Akash are like, oh yeah, you know, like I received the photo. Well, I didn't. Why? What does that mean? And then Andrew Santino, you can hear him in the back like, oh, well, you know, if he sends you a dick pic, like that means he likes you. Like it's encouraging him. Like, what do you want? You know? So that's why when George came out and said, oh, you know, that's essay, that's all of that. I'm like, all right, stand on that, dude. Go ahead, speak your story. Because if you speak your story, that creates a pathway for other people to come out. But because George isn't doing that, he's not creating a pathway. So I don't know if other people view it as that. And if nobody's gonna come out, I'm not gonna view it as essay. Instead, I'm just gonna view it as like, oh, that's just Bobby Lee then. And I'm not saying that just because you're a comedian that allows you to perform lascivious acts. What I am saying though is that Bobby Lee, he took a risk with his brand, and that's what his brand is about. And because it's tied to comedy, people associate that with comedy. I'm not saying that there's nobody that doesn't have a problem with it. I'm sure there is. But I mean, when even George, who to me is the only person that has complained about it so far, even when he retracts it, I mean, that doesn't exactly give me the impression that, oh, you know, there's a lot of other people out there who have a problem with it. Most of these people who probably do have a problem with it are probably not going to come out because they're probably afraid of the backlash that they're going to receive. What if, well, George is the same way, you know, even though he has his own platform. I mean, I'm sure to a degree he's still afraid because, dog, like when you're being offered all sorts of opportunities, I think the last thing you want to do is you want to ruin those opportunities. Because on that podcast, I was looking at Bobby like, yo, you're practically giving him like a lifetime, like of like, I guess security. Just listen to what he gives or he offers George on the podcast.
If me and you did a show together and you gave me the opportunity to open up for you, and you
You
came
do
up,
stand up?
yes, after your career, and me and you, not anymore. But
Why?
You ended my command.
No, we should. No, do you do stand up?
You ended my.
No, we got to go on the road together. Would you feature for me or no? Is that too little?
I would. I have a show in Arizona coming up August 1st.
But you headline.
I headline. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we have to do this.
I would love to do this.
I'll fly you out.
Oh, thank you.
Hotel, right?
Okay.
I'll pay you way more than I would pay a feature.
I appreciate that.
I think we should try a weekend.
That sounds like a great opportunity. I mean, why not, right? Why wouldn't he take it? I mean, that sounds like a great deal. But he also mentioned that he would help him out with guests as well.
And if you ever need, help getting people, I can help.
I would love Theo Vaughn.
That's a hard one.
All right.
And even in the podcast, in separate occasions, he alludes to the idea that he's potentially going to work with him for a very long time.
Let's move past it again, but it's like, I will work with you for the rest of my life, okay?
That's one occasion, and then here's the other one.
Let's work together in the next few years. I'm going to get out of the business at one point.
Now, if you isolate these offers and ideas, they don't really mean much, but considering the context, it kind of feels like it's a little bit forced to me. Like, I feel like Bobby Lee's just trying way too hard. It's great for George, but at the same time, I feel like this is just more or less a cover-up to not address the situation. And I think that George is potentially aware of this as well, which is why he kept bringing up that he was a stand-up comic, because I'm sure that to a degree he wanted this. Otherwise, why would he mention it to Bobby? I'm sure that Bobby, like, he has connections to that world. He could definitely hook George up to those opportunities. I don't know, man. This whole thing is just super complex. Honestly, it really is. Because in one corner you have, George, who doesn't want to address it as essay, and then in the other corner we have the rest of the internet who is addressing it in such a manner. And the internet went wild with the whole Bobby Lee situation, calling him a weirdo, a creep. Nevertheless, I'm proud of George from where he came from. He came from a very dark place, and now look at him. He's shining, chasing opportunities. I'm so happy for him. And I know that I can prove that I am actually happy for him, because throughout the entire time this entire drama was unfolding, I was there supporting him. I knew that I had to take a step back. I had to watch my content creators responsibly, which are two of my principles that I highly encourage you guys to adopt. And that's what led me to believe that, you know what, man, George, he's not doing so well. Unlike most people during that time when they were just making fun of George, calling him an unfunny comedian, I wasn't there on that bandwagon. I took a step back and I recognized the situation. And before I end the video, I want to go ahead and address a little problem that I have. Nothing big, but first I want to go ahead and draw a dichotomy, okay? To the people that come to my videos and actually watch my videos and actually wants to engage with them and learn something, I appreciate you guys. I'm not referring to you guys, nor am I referring to the average viewer. The people that I'm referring to are the people who just come into my comments or into my videos and just hate bomb everything. They dislike the video. They just say a bunch of mean comments. And to those people, I just want to go ahead and say, like, listen, man, I get it, dude. I'm not mad at you guys. I understand why you guys hate bomb. Because if I had a prefrontal cortex that was as flat as a fucking tire, I too would be dialing 911 on a microwave, or even calling my lost phone with the phone that I'm looking for. A lot of the people that leave terrible comments like that, you can straight out tell that they were dropped on their head 2 minutes before they let that comment drop, which is why they relate to it, because both their asses dropped. And I wouldn't even be surprised if these guys think that they're medically cured from their IQ because their IQ test came back negative. That's not a good thing, man. And you know what else isn't a good thing? Leaving hate comments with no substance. At least Coke has more substance than these people. But I'll tell you this, okay? If you want to engage with what I say, and again, I'm not talking to the general audience or even the people who subscribe to me and want to like learn and they want to engage with my content. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who are just so reactionary. To you guys, if you guys want to engage with my shit, go ahead. I'm gonna be live streaming. I want to live stream on YouTube sometime in the future. I don't know when, probably tomorrow. But on Kick, I know for a fact I'll be streaming on Kick tomorrow. If you really genuinely want to challenge my ideas, which I know you don't, because I've challenged your ideas before and none of you guys wanted to actually engage with it. If you guys really want to engage with what I'm talking about in these videos, tomorrow at around 8 through 12 a.m. Eastern time at night, I'm gonna be engaging with it. All right, if you guys want to engage with me, I'm there. What's up? You guys want to find me? The link is down below. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. That's all I have for you guys, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.